So recently, a woman went viral for doing something that hundreds of millions of women around the world do every single day, which is posting a selfie on Instagram. So why did Naomi Pula, Zambian lawyer selfie, go super duper viral? It is because Naomi isn't, according to her own words, she told People magazine, an aesthetically pleasing person to look at. So as soon as Naomi uploaded her selfie, hundreds, thousands of people felt they had the right to come and tell Naomi how they didn't want to look at her, how she wasn't pretty enough for her to upload the picture on Instagram, how the picture wasn't nice enough, how she should have to delete it, which Naomi stood her ground and she said no. And I'm so proud of her for not backing down, for sticking her ground, because women do not owe the world beauty. I said this before, we don't actually owe the world to exist in an aesthetically pleasing manner. And I say this as somebody who does participate in the beauty Olympics, as somebody who enjoy beautifying myself. And I still understand, even though, again, like I said, I enjoy putting on makeup, doing my nails, yada, yada, yada. I still know that I don't have to do that to be worthy. I don't have to do that to exist. I actually get to exist just because I do. I don't have to be beautiful or pretty according to the world to actually, or for my humanity to be valid, okay? Like, I don't owe the world beauty, and no woman does. But I wish I could sit here and tell you that I was surprised or by the response that Naomi's selfie has gotten, but I actually wasn't. Disappointed, sure, but not surprised, because I know that we live in a futurist society. Colorism talks about a lot, but we don't talk often enough, in my opinion, about futurism, because a lot of the time what the girls are experiencing isn't colorism, it's futurism. Okay, the world is actually okay with brown and dark women, as long as they fit the European beauty standard, as long as they have palatable features, okay, features that they like, okay, like full lips, a smaller. This is going to be really important in order for you to be deemed as, viewed as, perceived as beautiful if you are a darker skinned black woman. Nose, okay. I remember being 8 years old. How sad is that? 8 years old, and already knowing that I existed in a body that made the world uncomfortable. I remember being at my grandma's house. She had a mirror by the stairs, which, I mean, you haven't been to my grandma's house, you don't know and you don't care, but whatever. I remember staring at myself at that mirror, and like I said, I must have been 8 years old at the time, and already I knew that my nose was too large. I knew it was too big. I knew it was too flat. And I remember as an 8 years old, thinking about how I could get it to be smaller, like when I grew up, how I'm going to get a nose job. And I remember knowing as 8 years old that that would change my life. And yes, I was a gifted child. I mean, I'm a gifted person now, child, okay? But yeah, I remember knowing that, you know, I think we think children are stupid. We think children don't feel certain things, but they do. I remember knowing at 8 years old that the identity in which I presented didn't make me deem worthy or valuable to the world. As an 8 years old, I knew that. I remember going to school, and I went to one of Dakar's best schools. So you had a lot of Lebanese people who attended the private school that I've been to. Shout out to my mom. And we had this particular teacher, and, you know, she must have been very colorist, not even futurist, probably just colorist. And I remember the preferential treatment that the Lebanese children got in opposition to, you know, how she treated the brown kids, and especially, you know, the darker kids like myself, who had, like, you know, the more Afrocentric features. Like, we got, you know, I didn't really pay attention to how she was treating, like, the other black and brown kids, but I definitely saw that there was a difference in how she treated me and how she treated, like, the Lebanese, so Arabs, you know, wavy hair, curly hair children, right? And again, I must have been 7 or 8 at the time. I could already tell that the identity, the body in which I existed, I presented, wasn't aesthetically pleasing to the world enough for me to be deemed as worthy, for me to be deemed as valuable, for me to be deemed as worthy and deserving of being loved. Editing Manada here. Hey, so I forgot to say that even with my own sperm donor, I could tell as a young child that he would have been nicer to me or would have treated me better if I looked different, if I was cuter, which is funny since I inherited his whole entire face. But yeah, it's not unusual, we know, for self-hating black men to, want for their sons to look like them, but not their daughters. I remember how every time that I got in an argument with a cousin, the first thing they would bring up is, yeah, shut up with your big nose. Shut up with your big nose. Like, I didn't have the right to have a voice because I had a big nose. Okay, so because of that, nothing I have to say had value. Nothing I have to say matters. Like, as soon as they were losing the argument, which is for the weak, right? Like, if you have to come for somebody's facial feature or just for somebody's look in general within an argument, it's because you don't actually have like the capacity to debate them and actually win like the debate like fair and square. It's because you don't intellectually, you cannot win. So this is why, so it's actually very low, it's very under the belt to do that. But anyways, I remember my cousins doing this. I remember they would come for my nose, like, we would have the slightest disagreement and they would come for my nose, similarly to how people on Twitter always pull up your picture and be like, is this you? Is this you? The moment like, they disagree, or the moment you comment something they don't like, they will pull up your picture. And if you are somebody who doesn't match the beauty standard, like who doesn't fit in what the world views as deemed as perceived as beautiful, your picture's gonna get pulled up if you have any, and you're gonna be clowned. Like, this happens on TikTok a lot, it happened on Twitter obviously, and people are gonna be like, is this you? Like, that's the drag, that's the sentence, is this you? And then people are gonna be like under it being like kikiing at something that you cannot possibly change, as something that you didn't choose, like at something that deeper than that is also your heritage, something that you've gotten from the very people who brought you into this world. It's going to become a mockery. Your ancestry is going to become a mockery. But yeah, I wasn't surprised at the world's response to Naomi's selfie, because I know that ugly people are treated horribly. Like, people who don't meet the beauty standard are treated horribly. Like, women knew this. Like, why are we pretending we don't know this? Like, the mere fact that people felt they could get under her comment section and demand that she deletes the video, that level of entitlement you will only see people have towards people they don't deem as valuable, a specific segment of people, right? And now this has nothing to do with this video, or this is another video entirely, I should say. And you know what? It's always the people without profile picture. It's always the people without profile picture, right? I actually feel like we should have a law where people should only be able to comment on other people's look if they post their picture. I don't care. I know it's unpopular opinion, and this is going to be a dedicated video, but I do feel like people should have to post themselves before coming for other people's look, because anonymity has your own ball. Like, y'all are ball. Y'all are here saying like Caroline and all that. Like, we're talking about Calendria Rowland, like on her worst day, she eats you up. Like, stop, like, listen, just stop it, okay? And yeah, but like I said, I was disappointed and not surprised, because the world actually is very uncomfortable with brown and darker skinned black women who have bigger, fuller features, especially a bigger, broader, flatter nose. The world is uncomfortable at all with that. You can have fuller lips, full lips are sexy, okay? Marilyn Monroe had, bigger lips. The girlies are getting the injection, they want the fuller lips too. But if you have a big nose, if you have a broad nose, if you have a flat nose, you are going to be deemed ugly, okay? The boys, black men, are not going to want to date you because of the own self-hatred, because they don't like what they look like, because they don't like their own nose. They are not going to want to be with you. They are not going to want you to pass down that future to their kids or your kids. It's been like that. It's been that way. Again, I remember being a teen and nobody wanted to date me. Nobody wanted to be with me. I was deemed persona non grata. I was deemed ugly because I was darker skinned with a broader, flatter nose. And because of that, don't nobody want to be with me. Like, and that's okay, right? I mean, it wasn't okay then, but it's okay today. But I say all of this to say, yeah, like, ugly people, or by ugly people I mean people who don't actually fit in like society's beauty standard, like the mold that we've decided is what beautiful people look like. And I'm not gonna get back and forth with you in the comment section down below about what is somebody who is aesthetically pleasing. We all know what beautiful people look like. We pretend we don't, but there's actually a science behind beauty. There's math. We know beauty is math. We know it's the Ryan Destinies of the world, the Justin Skies of the world, the Naomi Campbells of the world, the Daki Tarts of the world, the Nikki Tarts of the world, the Lupita Nyong'os of the world. Like, we know who is deemed as viewed as perceived as attractive among Black women. So I'm not going to be debating with you about that in the comment section down below. I'm just not interested in that. If you think beauty is subjective, good for you. I beg to differ. I believe that most of beauty actually isn't that subjective. I believe beauty is pretty objective. Is there an element of subjectivity in beauty? Obviously there's an element of subjectivity in everything, but I actually don't believe that beauty is that subjective. I think attraction is subjective. I think I can recognize that a man is very good looking and still not want to be with him, still not be into him, still not be attracted to him, but I can still see how this is a good looking man. Okay, so yeah, if you're a darker skinned Black woman with bigger features, bigger nose, a broader nose, a flatter nose, the treatment that you're going to be experiencing sometimes in shops, in restaurants, in coffees is going to be terrible. But yeah, unattractive women are treated horribly. As a matter of fact, even average looking women are treated horribly at times. And I know that average looking has become an insult on Colorism's internet, but all average mean is the sum of. Okay, most people are average in every way, shape or form, myself included. Okay, so chill. So yeah, if you're a woman that refuses to participate in beauty politics, if you're a woman that refuses to beautify yourself in order to appease society, quote unquote, men in a patriarchal society, right? You will be demonized, you will be judged, you will be shamed, you will be shunned, because let's not lie, there are actually benefits that come with beautifying yourself. There are benefits that come with presenting yourself in a manner that the world want to see. And we get into that in another video, how beauty is a commodity, how beauty is or can be currency, social or otherwise, if you ask me. But yeah, like, I still wanted in ending of this video to say that you still get to do that though. You get to not want to participate, you get to not want to join in, you get to. I know somebody who was like, yeah, I'm not doing this. Okay, I feel like I am so far away from what the beauty ideal is that I'm not actually interested in getting into the rat race of achieving, your goal, and your goal is always moving, and that is true. The goalpost is always moving, girl. You gotta be perfect nowadays in order to be considered, conventionally attractive. Like, the bar is always getting higher and higher and higher and higher. And my friend, she was like, I don't want to do this. I don't feel I can do this. I don't feel I can ever match the standard anyways. And she's living life like a very normal life. She's been partnered several times. She owns the apartment she lived in, which is something that many women who are conventionally attractive cannot say for themselves. So I really want us to kill this narrative that you have to be exceptional in order to live an exceptional life. Average looking women live exceptional life. Like Sarah Jessica Parker, anyone? Right? Like, the level of money and fame that Sarah Jessica Parker has amasses and have, most people will never ever ever experience. She's it's not even the 1%. Like, she's in the 0.000000001%. Okay, so a lot of average looking women live exceptional lives. Don't let the world, the internet, TikTok, Instagram, the internet, YouTube, the internet, Facebook, the internet gaslight you into thinking otherwise. Okay, like, they have jobs, they have partners, they have children, they own homes, they have high paying jobs, and that a lot of them they have cars, beautiful cars. They're living life. Okay, like, you don't have to participate. You don't owe the world beauty. And I say this as someone who wants to give the world beauty, and you can do that. And again, there are enormous benefits that could come with that, and we'll get into that in another video. Yeah, and that's that on that. You don't owe the world jack shit. Period. Like, you don't owe the world jack. You don't have to. So shout out to Naomi Pula. I wish she was around when I was a younger woman. I wish this had happened when I was, a lot younger, 16, even though, Instagram didn't exist when I was 16. But, had I seen this video in the early, or it's not a video, like what happened with her in the early stages of YouTube, which is 15 years ago, maybe seeing a black woman that doesn't fit into what the world say we should try and mold ourselves into being, because most of us don't actually fit that, and seeing her say no so gracefully, seeing her stand her ground so gracefully, maybe that would have helped me, get into plastic surgery.
Yeah, that's a lie, lol. As an estranged daughter, there is nothing I hated more than seeing the face of the very parent I had to cut out of my life every time I looked at a mirror.
I hope that she does inspire a lot of younger women not to do it, even though there's nothing wrong with plastic surgery. It's a choice. You can choose to do that, or you can choose to stand your ground. You can choose to give in or not give in. Either way, you're welcome on this platform. Like, it's not for me to say who gets work done or who doesn't. If you want to get work done, if you feel you cannot restrain the pressure, then go ahead and get work done. If you feel you can stand your ground, then do that. I think we're different. I think we're not all the same. Some of us can take people not being super nice to them on a daily basis and it doesn't affect them, and maybe others have shakier mental health and cannot really deal with that type of rejection on the daily, which and it is hard on any psyche, don't get me wrong. But anyways, you are welcome to stay on the platform, on the N Squad, whether you're team surgery or you're team just loving and accepting myself as I am, even though to me self-love is accepting what you can and changing what you can't. But that's another video entirely. I have ADHD and I'm just rambling at this point. So if you enjoyed this video, do not forget to give it a thumbs up. In the comment section down below, let me know what did you think of the amazing Zambian attorney Naomi Pula. I hope that I'm saying her last name correctly. Shout out to her. But yeah, do not forget to subscribe to my channel as well. And I will talk to you girls on Tuesday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Bye girls. Thanks for watching. Mwah.